My name is Kim Ducy, and I am the Partnership Manager for DocbookMD. This quick demo will give you an overview of how to use the DocBook app. If you need a more in-depth presentation, please feel free to reach out to us directly and we can schedule something. Before we get started, I'd like to just mention that DocBook works on the iPhone, the iPad, Android phones, and Android tablets, and you can have this downloaded on two separate devices. So let's go ahead and get started. You'll see here on the left-hand side I have my menu screen. We're going to go through each of these tabs, but I'm going to save messages for last. So how do you find a physician? Well, there's two ways to do that. You can look under the Physicians tab and find them by last name, or you can go to Specialty and find the physician under Specialty. Now, we get a lot of feedback from physicians that they like this feature, especially if they're in a rural area and they're not quite sure who to refer a patient to. So let's go back to the Physicians tab. You'll notice that some physicians in the tab in the menu bar will have a speech bubble. This signifies that that person has actually downloaded the app onto their device. If you don't see that and you open up a physician's profile, you'll notice that they have what's called a Send an Invitation tab. This will allow you to email them an invitation, letting them know that you'd like to communicate with them through DocBook, and it'll provide them a link so that they can download the app onto their device. So if we look at a physician's profile, it's going to show their picture if they have it on file, their name, their specialty, which medical society they're a part of, and their contact number. In addition to that, you'll notice some of the other fields below. Affiliations, we'll talk about that in just a moment. In addition to that, you'll see care team members listed. And then finally, you'll have that person's contact information. Now, please note that if you send an email through the DocBook app, or if you go to their website or even call them, that is not a secure, HIPAA secure message that's being sent. I'll show you how to send a DocBook message in just a moment. So with any physician, any care team member, any pharmacy or specialty, you can tag someone as a favorite. So think of your favorites as kind of your speed dial for the app. Anyone that's tagged as a favorite will show up in your favorites, but they will also show up in that regular tab at the very top. In order to make someone a favorite, you will just go to their profile and actually click on their picture or their icon, depending on if they have a picture on file. That little red star signifies that this person is a favorite. So now I go to my favorites, they're going to show up. Let's go on to Care Team. So now DocBook offers the ability for physicians to communicate with each other, but also to communicate with their staff through the app. Now the key here is that the physician has to invite their care team members to join. You're going to go to this Invite tab, and that's going to allow you to either invite from your contacts, or you're going to type in that person's name, email address, and if you have a cell phone number for them, you can include that as well. You send them an invitation. They will then receive an email message. They'll have to go in and verify through security questions, download the app, and now you can communicate with them. You'll see here that each care team member has what's called a radio button where you can turn off their messaging. The great thing about DocBook is that physicians have the control and they decide who gets to communicate with them. So let's say you're a physician and you are on call one weekend. So you may need to communicate with a specific staff person on that weekend, but you don't necessarily need to communicate with them all the time. Well, if you don't need to communicate with them, you can actually turn them off when you're not working directly with them. So this is a great way for the physicians to manage their care team. Please note that care team members can only communicate with the physicians that they're under, as well as other care team members on that same team. Let's now talk about physician groups. So we've had a number of hospitals and groups that are interested in branding or tagging their physicians within the app. You'll find them under physician groups, and let's go in and take a look at this. So when I pull up a physician's group or a logo of a group, that's going to show me a complete directory of all of those physicians. When I go to that physician's profile under affiliations, that's where I'm going to see that logo appear. This is a great way for you to keep referrals in network and just to keep an internal directory of those physicians. Let's move on to pharmacies. DocBook offers a complete listing of pharmacies within the app. Now, keep in mind that this is only a directory. You can't actually send a message to a pharmacy from DocBook. When you do pull up a pharmacy, though, you can search by the name of the pharmacy, the street address, the city, and even the zip code. And I can tag a pharmacy as a favorite, just like I can a physician. Let's open up a pharmacy tab and show you what it looks like. It's going to provide all of their contact information as well as a map of where they're located. Again, we get great feedback on this feature. We have a lot of physicians who use this on a regular basis in order to provide their patients a quick reference as to where they're sending a prescription to. Let's move on to settings and then we'll go to messages. So this is where you can actually customize the app. If, let's say, you go on vacation and you don't want to receive DocBook messages, you can turn that off. In addition to that, if you're in surgery, for example, or you're with a patient and you're not by your phone, you can set up what's called enhanced notifications. This is going to allow you to customize an email address and or a phone number. This will send you a reminder that you have a DocBook message that you haven't looked at. So it's a great way to keep up with those messages that you haven't opened. In addition to that, we strongly suggest that you password or PIN protect your phone or the app. The best way to provide security is to password protect the phone, but we realize that some physicians don't want to do that. So in order to keep security with this HIPAA secure messaging, we ask that you PIN protect the app with a 4-digit PIN code. A few things to note about this. Keep in mind that DocBook is HIPAA secure and that no information is actually stored on your device. So when you send a message to someone, that information within the app is actually HIPAA secure, but it's also being stored on the DocBook servers. So let's say that you lose your phone or it's stolen. Let us know. You can reach out to us and we will remotely disable the app from your device. So just be aware that this is completely HIPAA secure within the app. Let's go to the last and most important piece, the messaging. So to send a message to someone, you're going to go to that person's profile and make sure that they have that little speech bubble by their name that shows or signifies that they are actually on DocBook. So I'm going to go to this little text bubble here, or speech bubble, with the pencil. I'm going to click on that. We have a little delay here. Sorry, the app's going a little slow. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to pick who I'd like to send a message to. Well, I know that Chad Shepler has DocBook, so I'm going to click on his profile. I'm then going to type in my patient name and date of birth, and here's where I'm going to type in my message. Now, let's say that I want to attach images to this message. Think of your phone as a scanner. Whatever you can physically take a picture of, you can attach to a message. So go to this little camera icon here. I'm going to click on that, pretend that this is a real phone and I can actually take a picture. Think of whatever it is that you'd like to take a picture of. An x-ray, an EKG. Some physicians will actually take pictures of discharge summaries or a wound itself. People get pretty creative with what they take pictures of. So you've taken that picture, you'd like to attach it to the message. I can't show you because I don't actually have a live picture, but I will show you on an incoming message what that looks like. Once I've done that, I'm actually going to set priority for my message. This is important because you want to make sure that if it's urgent, you set a 5-minute response time. What this is going to do is this is going to send a message to Chad Shepler. If he does not open my DocBook message within 5 minutes, I will get a notification that he hasn't looked at my message. The other thing you want to note is that when you do receive a DocBook message, it will have a unique ringtone, so you know it's not an email or a text. And you will see a little window that pops up on your screen signifying that you have a DocBook message. So 5 minutes is urgent, 30-minute for not so urgent, and then I'm going to hit send. You're then going to see this little screen pop up that says successfully sent message to Chad Shepler. Let me show you what a message looks like when it's coming in. It's going to be tagged as 5 minutes or 30 minutes, And you can tell here when you have an attachment. So I'm going to open up this message and I'm going to look at it, and I've noticed that Chad Shepler has actually attached an EKG. I can make this larger. He's also attached an X-ray. So let me scroll down to that to get that for you. There we go. So you can see here the quality is pretty good. And again, I can make that larger if I need to. You'll always know whether someone has looked at your message or not. If you don't receive a message back from DocBook, then you know that that person has looked at your message but hasn't responded. If you do receive a message back from DocBook, then you know that they haven't looked at your message. So this is essentially how the messaging works. If you need any sort of support getting on the app or actually getting it to work, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can email DocBook at info@docbookmd.com, or you can call us at toll-free 888-930-2048. Thanks, and start DocBooking.